Welcome, everyone, to the 2024 energy forecast and predictions. This year is going to be absolutely incredible. So much magic is coming through for us because this year is the year that we reclaim the power of infinite abundance. Welcome to everyone, all of you who could be here on the live, all of you catching the replay. I want to thank you. I want to start with gratitude because it's because of you that I am here, and your energy is contributing to this forecast as well. So I do have a lot that's energetically prepared ahead of time. There's been meditations, there's been prayers, there's been conscious connections with God, Goddess, all that is, my spiritual support team, the Divine Father, the Divine Mother, to bring these messages here for you today. But there's also this energetic connection that we have here that is also going to contribute to the information that is shared. So I thank you. I thank you for coming here with open hearts, with open minds, and your willingness to align with these energies and contribute to the collective consciousness. So thank you. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Anne Marie McKenzie. I am a soulful business strategist. I'm a certified numerologist. And in numerology, I'm a ruling number 3. My personal day is 11. Stay tuned. Coming in 2024 will be the AM 311 podcast. I am a 7 of clubs, and the 7 of clubs is here to be a spiritual teacher. The 7 of clubs is this energy that came through for me in numerology that was a surprise. It supported me to have a breakdown, to break through, and to just honor who it is that I am, and to step into the power of my own purpose and gifts and show up and shine for all of you. I love numerology. I cannot not weave it into everything that I do. It supports me in my life and business and all of my soulmate clients as well. My vision is to ensure that everyone fulfills their soul contract. It's a pretty big deal. If you don't know this, I'm kind of a big deal. So I feel like it is an incredible vision to have in my life and business. And my mission is to empower spiritual entrepreneurs like you, the psychic sensitives, the empaths, the healers, the coaches, the teachers, the mentors, the guides, to fully align with your purpose, to amplify your gifts and activate the divine prosperity within you that is your birthright. And I do so in a variety of different ways, which we can talk about all throughout the forecast. And at the end, I'll discuss how you can work with me if you're interested in doing so. I want to set the intention for this forecast. If you're brand new to numerology and you're brand new to forecasting, pop that in the chat. I want to know if you've never been involved in any type of forecasting before. My intention of this is to support you to predict and prepare what's coming through for all of us in the conscious collective. So this forecast is a universal forecast. That's what numerology is able to do for us. It is mathematical, it is scientific, and it's a way for us to predict patterns. When we have this wisdom and we have this knowledge, it's kind of like having a crystal ball. Not 100% perfect and on point, but it gives us a general idea. And that is so valuable to us because we can prepare. This isn't about controlling the future, but this is about taking responsibility as the creator of your own reality. And when we know this information, it allows us to be a little bit more flexible. It allows us to contribute to the new earth paradigm, to raise the vibration of the collective consciousness, which I know every single one of you, you are light workers, you are earth angels who are here on the call. Believe that, trust in that. And to create momentum and ease, I want you to embody this information and allow it to support you to cast a vision for your future. And in doing so, to support you to align with that vision that you are casting in the future and thrive. There are some people, Tina, less than a year. Joanna, I am now referred to you by Lisa. Wonderful, welcome. And you ordered your planner today. This is amazing. A lot of this information in the forecast I added to the 2024 Soulful Planner. This is my baby, everybody. This has been a couple years in the making. It is not a coincidence that I launched the physical Soulful Planner in this 2023-2024 energy year. So there's a lot of this goodness that's woven into there as well. Since April, I know that there's going to be a lot of other numerologists that are on the call as well. And so, welcome. If there's anything that you want to add or contribute or expand as I'm sharing this energy forecast, you are welcome to do so. If there's something that you would like me to dive deeper into or provide you with more clarity, again, feel free to pop it in the chat. I want this to be a conscious conversation amongst all of us. All right. So, 2024 is an 8 energy year. It's very simple. We look at 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 4, and that equals 8. We cannot talk about the 8 energy without honoring the 7 of 2023 that we are in. Inner reflections before outer actions are so important. When it comes to the energy of numbers, just like everything, the numbers have energy and they have a high vibration and a low vibration. And the energy of one doesn't immediately stop and the other start. They work together like families, like brothers, like sisters. And the 7 energy, sorry, I just realized that somebody was unmuted and my video wasn't pinned. So I just want to do that so that doesn't happen again. Okay. So all the numbers have a high vibration and a low vibration, and they work together. When it comes to universal energies, we are working with the numbers 1 to 9. Very simple. And this represents a manifestation cycle, beginning to end, start to finish. We are doing this forecast on an 8 energy day. This is by design. December is a 1 energy month. So we are forging new pathways today to reclaim the power of infinite abundance. We can trust in that. Now, what has 2023, what has the 7 energy taught us? I would love to hear from you in the chat. What has this year been like for you? What have been your greatest lessons? It was a doozy. Yes. 2023 was a rebirth of spiritual awakening. It opened the psychic floodgates for so many of us. Our intuition came online in a much grander way. We took a lot less shit from other people. We started to speak our truth and to do so in a way that was very compassionate, very kind, and very loving. Like a roller coaster that I didn't want to be on, but taught me invaluable lessons. It was a burning down so I could pivot. It's funny, I don't have my glasses on. I'm like, I lost my spot already. It was a burning down so I could pivot and re-emerge better than before. I'm really glad to hear that. Lots of challenges in all aspects of life. I can rely that everything will always be taken care of. Oh, that lesson that the universe has our back and wants us to win. Yes, I can definitely relate to that. Ditto all around, one for the books, letting go of what's not serving me, beginning the journey of honoring my spirit self. I love that. For me, it was understanding the power of our thoughts and how we perceive things. Oh, beautiful. Taking risks, becoming the leader I am meant to be as a 33-6 ruling number. The roller coaster is a good way to put it. Definitely an awakening. I feel like I don't even know who I am anymore. But at the same time, I have acknowledged that means I can recreate myself. But also, I manifested a lot of good stuff. That's amazing to hear. For so many people, this year has been a cosmic bitch slap, for lack of a better term. If we had experienced patterns in our life, you know, those moments where you're in the muck, where you're in the darkness, and the situation and the experience and the people that are involved, you're like, I've already been here before. Why am I going through this again? I've already done the therapy, I've already done the workshop, I've already read the books. 2023 brought to light just the little itty bitty things that maybe we're still wanting to be healed. It wasn't necessarily like you were pulling a sword fully out of your back, but there was some slivers that were left. Let me know if you can relate to that. As challenging as it was, there was this flip side of it, this remembering and this sense of being proud for the work that we have done that supported us to go through this in a way that changed the outcomes. Yes, yes, can relate. Oh my God, stop. This is crazy. So can relate, right? And that felt good, didn't it? I'm getting a lot of hits from our spiritual support team that you completely can understand this and resonate with this. Totally reminders of things I've healed, but still need to work on. I had this not so great conflict that occurred for me in the summer. And what came to light for me was this question: can I forgive someone who hasn't taken responsibility for their actions? And the answer for that is yes. But what does that look like? What's the work look like within that spiritual assignment? And I sat in meditation and I brought myself to my favorite beach and I put someone in a boat. And with love and kindness, I sent them off. I had fireworks. They got caught on the beach. On my beach, there's logs all around it to create like a swim area. And the boat got caught. And I remember in my meditation saying, oh, for fuck's sakes. And I had to walk along the logs and like move the boat to push them out. And I had to laugh at myself because here I am in meditation. I'm getting frustrated. I'm trying to release and let go of something like in a very kind and loving and compassionate way. And I'm swearing. And then after that, I came back to the beach and I invited somebody into this bubble that I had created: light above me, light below me, light around me, light within me. My light is my vision and my protection. And I created this bubble and I invited someone in. And I practiced the 4 pathways of forgiveness. I give you permission to forgive me. I give myself permission to forgive myself. I give you permission to forgive me. And I give myself permission to forgive you. And then I recited the whole Ponopono prayer. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. And I love you. When it was complete, it felt complete. But then when this person exited my light bubble, there was a lineup. There was a lineup of other people that wanted to do this work with me. Some of these people are on the other side. They've already passed on. Some of them were a part of my spiritual support team, and some of them were here on the earth plane. It brought up a lot of grief. Let me know in the chat if grief was one of your key themes for 2023. That releasing, that letting go of what we thought was going to be. The beautiful thing about these lessons, 1000%, oh my God, absolutely, yes, yes, yes. In some ways, yes. I'd love to hear if there were any other themes, especially emotional and spiritual themes for you in 2023. And this is very important because, again, just because this year is complete and is over, in many ways, especially in my community, we've completed 2023 in November, which was a 9 energy month. And I think because it has been so difficult for so many people, that loss has been a key theme that's sparking the grief, that we're like, I'm done. I'm just so done. Let's call in 2024. And we've been doing that. We're light workers. We know how to connect to energy. And we've been calling in that 8 energy into December to like harmonize these lessons, to bring balance back to the force. Anger, lots of anger asking to be released. Anger is very connected to grief. It is an aspect of grief. I know when I am sad and upset, it's usually anger that shows up as the expression to other people. Lots of surrendering and trusting. The 7 will do that. The 7 asked us to surrender. The 7 asked us to take risks. The 7 asked us to have fierce faith. The 7 asked us to trust in ourselves, in our intuition, and to trust that the universe has your back and wants you to win. A lot of grief and letting go, getting more comfortable with where I am spiritually. I love this. Thank you, Tammy. Anger is grief's bodyguard. Oh, yes, it is. And it does an amazing job, doesn't it? What I love about anger, because there is such a thing as sacred anger. We've been taught that anger is bad, is negative, especially as women. We've been taught to stuff it. I'm going to ask you to not do that anymore. Because anger, even though it might be a low vibration, it's a starting point, it's a portal, it's a gateway. And when we choose to step into that portal, when we choose to honor it for what it is, the darkness, we transmute it. If there is one purpose that we all have, I love that Dolores Cannon taught me this. It's to transmute energy. That's what we are here to do. So when we feel anger, it's an invitation to transmute anger into passion. And when we move it up into passion, we do something about it. What's the point of feeling these feelings if we're not going to do something about it? And feelings have this, emotions are amazing. In 7 minutes, we can transmute them if we have the courage to sit with them. The 8's going to help us do that if we weren't able to do it in 2023. When we move it into passion, it inspires action. And when we do something about it, we transmute it even higher into compassion. And the world needs more compassion. We need more compassion for ourselves and for other people. And that's a high vibe, isn't it? Seeing and letting go of the unhealed masculine and feminine patterns to make room for the healed masculine and the feminine flow. Yes, thank you for sharing that. The 8 is going to amplify that for us. 1222. So we got a 222. That's amazing. And right before the call, there was 77 registrants in one aspect of the event, and it was 7. So we got a 777. Has anybody seen a lot of 77 or 777 or 47s or double 8s or triple 8s or quadruple 8s, or what have been your numerical patterns, those angel numbers that have been showing up for you? I'd love to hear it in the chat. I know there's one person on the call that sees 311 all the time. And I'm like, I'm 311. That's my code. And then now I'm seeing 311 all the time too. And I just love that she's one of my soulmate clients and I get to hang out with her on a monthly basis. And we have these awesome Voxer chats all the time. We share the magic that keeps unfolding. You know who you are. I love you. 777-222-111, twos and threes, triple fours, triple eights. Boom, totally connecting to 2024. 1111. I see 1111 all the time too. That's my beautiful bulldog Babs. I had her crossover right at 1111. So whenever I see it, I know it's a special message from Babs, usually to get off my ass and away from the computer and go move my body, but also to just take life less seriously and to have fun and to let go. That's what I love about animals, right? They don't hold on to anything like we do as humans. 444. Mm-hmm. So much goodness. I get all of them pretty much. Oh, 11, 22, 444, 555, 808, 333. Yeah, there can be other ones too. 711 is one that I get all the time. And that is also part of my energetic code is a 7 of clubs and an 11 personal day number. But it's my partner's daughter's birthday, July 11th. So I get that all the time and connect with her and send her some good vibes whenever I get that. I get 1023 all the time, which is my partner's birthday. And now that I have said 23, 10, 23, watch how often it pops up in movies all the time. All the time. There's significance in it. It's pretty cool. If angel numbers are a way that your spiritual support team speak to you, and I think this is really important because 2023 really brought our intuition online in much grander ways. Again, it opened those psychic floodgates. And so these number patterns are a way for the universe to speak to us. So if you're interested in knowing what these messages mean, by simply having the 2024 energy forecast book, within there is an overview of numerology. It's in the Soulful Planner as well. So when you start to learn the energetics of each of the numbers, then you can start to understand the story that our spiritual support team, that God, Goddess, all that is, Source, Universe, is asking of us. When you see those numbers, pause. What are you thinking? How are you feeling? And what are you doing? The message is related to your thoughts, your feelings, and the action that you are taking. The message is always, hey, let's raise this vibe. Either change what it is you're thinking, feeling, and doing because it's low vibe, or keep doing more of this because it's very high vibrational. 1010. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So let's talk about the 8. Is there any ruling number 8s that are on the call today? I know there's one. Oh, look at that. It's Sierra. Everybody, Sierra Sailor is on the call. She is the artist for the cover of the Soulful Planner. So when you see that, and you've been sending me all those messages going, damn, like I love the look of this, it's my friend Sierra. I had this idea to finally just ask for the help that I need. I did not want to go into Canva and create something on my own. And I thought, you know what? It is time for me to connect and build my team. So who do I know? Who do I know? Let's tap into that 8 energy. Who do I know that's a master at artistry? And Sierra was my first choice, my first idea, my first thought. And she said, well, this just makes sense because I'm a ruling number 8. And I was like, wow, divine timing. And the cover art of 8 does, of the Soulful Planner, does represent 8. That lion is about courage and strength and power. The protea flower is about diversity and making change. It's also the flower of South Africa. So thankfully, it's the same flower where like lions hang out. And the borage flower that's in its hair was to make the lion more feminine. But I'll let Sierra pop it in the chat. I should remember this, but I forget what the borage flowers represent. But it's a representation of 8 and reclaiming the power of infinite abundance. She will have prints available very soon, so you can have your own of that Soulful Planner to put in a beautiful frame. Any other eights? I'm an eight. Anne Marie is an eight. What a beautiful name. I like it. I very rarely meet other Anne Maries, so I thought that was pretty cool. I've seen a lot of eights, also 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 3 represents ascension, means that you're moving on up. I love it. Kim's an eight as well. How do we know? Thank you for asking. Add up all the digits in your birthday and reduce it down to a number between 2 and 11. If you have challenges with this, pop your birthday into the chat. There's other numerologists on the call, and they will probably help you because they're beautiful souls, or they will confirm your calculations. 8 personal day and going into an 8 year. That's amazing. This is really important because what we're about to tap into, yes, it's universal energy that we're all going to experience, but because of our own personal energetic code, we are all going to experience it very differently. I shouldn't say very differently, but we're going to experience it differently. My personal year that I'm moving into is that of a 4. So I have a 4 personal year in an 8 universal year. I'm really excited about that. I also know that when I have a 3 personal year and a 7 universal year, that shit hits the fan and I lose a lot of people and things that I loved, but a lot of shifts and changes and transformations happen for my own spiritual growth. I don't think it's a coincidence that in 2014 was the exact same energy, 7 and 3 for me. And that's also the year that I lost my mother. And this year I lost my papa, which was like a father to me. He was 41 years old when I was born. We have a very special connection. He's on the call today. That's why I saw 1222. He's a master 22 number. Claire, you should remember yours because I did a numerology blueprint with you. But just pop your birthday in the chat and people can support you to add it up so you know what your ruling number is. Your ruling number is the core essence of who it is that you are. So it's your first energy in your code, and it's the biggest energy in your code. The other one that I would focus on for this year is figuring out your personal year, and that's very simple as well. So you take your month and your day and you add it with 2024 instead and reduce it to a number between 1 and 9. So you can see where you're at in the manifestation cycle. Ruling is 7. Lion, assertion of the feminine. Oh, I'll just wrap that up with what Sierra is saying. Lion, assertion of the feminine and the power of the female sun, courage. Proteas are a symbol of feminine power, a national flower of South Africa. The borge, the small purple flowers, is a symbol of courage worn by Scots women in the 1800s as a symbol of courage. Love that. And purple and gold also represent the energy of 8. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for supporting everybody to do their calculations. The 8 energy, the high vibration of it is about creative mastery. The 8 invites us to deeper devotion, to commitment, to recognizing patterns and learning how to go with the flow. The 8 is a mirror that supports us to continue releasing and letting go of things that no longer serve us and to transmute those energies into higher frequencies. The low vibration of the 8 is overwhelm, taking too many steps ahead rather than being present in the moment right here, right now, playing small, energetically blocking that feminine flow, being stuck in old patterns or in the old ways that we do things. The 8 is a very lucky number in so many cultures. It represents generosity and it represents abundance. One way to look at the low vibe of the 8 as well is, you know, the saying behind the 8 ball. The 8 ball is the most important ball in a game of pool or snooker. And that saying behind the 8 ball does represent not having that clear path forward, not being devoted to our creative gifts and mastery of those gifts, of being overwhelmed and feeling like the weight of the world is on our shoulders. The 8 struggles with perfectionism because it leans on the 9, and the 9 can be very critical and very judgmental. And so perfectionism could be one of those blocks for the 8 who's ready to be visible, to be seen, to be heard, to be that highest, most authentic expression of oneself, to really embody the purpose that we are here to express. I love 8 in nature. We see it in the Fibonacci sequence. We see it, spiders. I had one person say, "Why did you put spiders in the lion's mane?" Those are not spiders, those are flowers. I'm like, but hey, it works. Spiders have 8 legs. An octopus. I love octopus. Octopi? Is that how you say multiple octopuses? The 8's a beautiful number. It's a very spiritual number as well. And in the spiritual communities, it also represents spirituality. So this year, reclaiming the power of infinite abundance. This year is about transmuting the spiritual energies. It's about harmonizing and bringing balance to all of the spiritual assignments that the 7 presented to us. 1, 2, 3, 4, as I'm saying that. It's a celestial shift because it connects and builds a big bridge between the cosmos and the earthly planes. The 7 energy had us hanging out in the spiritual plane quite often. And the 8 brings it here into the earthly plane, to Earth School. The heart's wisdom is going to lead the way for us this year, and it's going to clear the path to abundance. Those 2 circles in an 8, those 2 concentric circles, represent flow, represent momentum, represent ease.
Hey, Tracy. I just need.
Can you guys make sure that you stay on mute?
Okay. Tomorrow
Carla,
you
can
have
mute,
me
please?
scheduled from 12 to 2, and then I'm doing a 5 to 10:30. Now that tomorrow is a holiday lunch, I need to stay to bring the food, the kitchen stuff back, correct?
Sorry.
Miss Anne Marie, you muted her.
Yeah, I'm good. When we take those 2 circles and we lay them onto their side, it represents infinity, right? There's enough. The 2 concentric circles remind us about the dance of duality, the polarization, the duality that we live in, the masculine, the feminine, the light, the dark, the negative, the positive, and support us to traverse both sides. The vigor of the 8 rests in the flow of traversing both of those sides. Yes, it is about finding the sweet spot, that sweet spot between hustle and heart. But the 8 doesn't want to stay in that place. So it's about embracing and mastering traversing of both sides. This represents our outer world that will be a reflection of our inner world. So if there is chaos in our inner world, there will be chaos in our outer world. If there is still a lot of grief in our inner world, there will be grief in our outer world. If there is scarcity in our inner world, there will be scarcity in our outer world. The 8 will remind us, though, that we have a choice. And in that choice, we take responsibility as the creator of our own reality. We embrace both sides. The 8 wants us to have deeper devotion to this, to understanding that if we change our inner world, we change our outer world. And it will be a beautiful mirror for us. It will support us to have the courage, to have the strength, to go into the darkness, to go into those unhealed places and tap into all of that spiritual wisdom that we have gained and heal that. The creative mastery that we are being invited to take, that portal that we are meant to step into, can sometimes cause overwhelm and obsession. It's okay. It's okay to have laser beamed focus. But 8 wants harmony and 8 wants balance. So ensure that whatever you're choosing to master, you take a holistic approach to it. You tap into all elements of your life and all elements of your business. Those are listed in the ebook that's created for you in the energy forecast and in the Soulful Planner. Use that as you're consciously planning your life and business for this year. The 8, as I visualize it, always is created with 4 plus 4. Now I know that 5 plus 3 is 8 and 7 plus 1 is 8 and 6 plus 2 is 8. But because of those concentric circles, it's 2 4s. There's balance. The 4 energy is about systems, structures, organization, and calling on the resources that we need to overcome the challenge. The 4 is about conscious leadership. And so the 8 amplifies all of those things. I want you to remember that the 8, what it does for us, it reminds us that what goes around comes around. So you get what you give. Remember this year that you are at all times, you are an energetic being. You have your own vibration and your own frequency. And this is part of the language of our souls and the universe, and God got us all that is. So our vibrations and our frequencies are speaking to the universe at all times. And what we are emanating is what is coming back to us. And so if we want to change our reality, we change our thoughts, we change our feelings, we change our inspired action, and we create a new reality. Master that. Devote yourself to that. Commit yourself to that. How does that feel so far? When you hear about the 8 energy, what is coming through for you? Excitement, expansion, fear? Spot on fire. I feel it already. So do I. Very expansive, inspired, good. 8 does represent fire. And we are in Chinese astrology, it is the year of the dragon, which I love. The dragon and the 8 pairing up means we're going to burn a lot of things down. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment. Perfect timing, a bit of fear, but mostly hope. Thank you for being real about that. Perfect timing, peace, confidence, growth, inspirational. I am so ready. Honestly, I already feel it. Good. I've been waiting and preparing for it. Going deeper with healing energy to assist people as they cross over. So super excited. Also born in the year of the dragon. Damn, it's going to be a good year for you. That sounds amazing. Would love to know how the dragon and the 8 might interact. I'm going to be talking about that very soon. When you think about the dragon and the spirit and the energy of a dragon, pop it into the chat. What comes through for you? What is your intuition saying that the dragon is all about? fire, fluid and magical. Yeah, more magic for sure. More flow for sure. Fierceness, protection. Thank you for using those words. Magic, power, wisdom, big presence. Yes, yes, yes. The year of the wood dragon starts on February 10th. It sure does. So we're going to be adding some more fuel to that fire because it's a wood dragon. We need to be mindful this year, with 8 being about fire and this wood dragon showing up and us wanting to put more wood on the fire, that fire can be destructive. And it's okay if we want to completely burn it all down, but we don't want to burn other people in the process. So be mindful of that. Be careful of that. Magical power, protector, guardian, warrior. So remind yourself as you move into this year that you are being taken care of by this beautiful, gorgeous, magical creature. You are protected. Whatever is in your path, whatever is energetically blocking your ability to reclaim the power of infinite abundance, the dragon will support you in clearing that path. Now, before we go into soulful strategies and more predictions for 2024, is there anything else that you would like to share about the 8 energy? Is there anything, any questions that you have? Anything that's unclear? Any insights that are coming through for you? Higher self-responsibility with using your powers this year. Yes. How many people became aware for the first time that they have psychic gifts in 2023? You said low vibration is overwhelm. What is the highest vibration? What would be the opposite of overwhelm for you? If you're the master of your creative gifts, clarity, yes. Knowing each step that's involved to mastery. And again, the double 4 energy of 8 will help us with that in 2024. And I'll talk about this a lot more momentarily. The structures, the systems, the foundations, and taking a holistic approach. This might be the year personally for you to write a book. If your personal forecast, if the theme for you this year is 2 of clubs or 3 of clubs, yes, I would say this is a perfect year to do a book collaboration or to write your own story, write your own book. But it's not just about sitting at the computer and writing. It's about taking moments every morning to breathe into your heart, to pray and connect, to move your body, to nourish it. Make sure that you're drinking enough water, eating foods that are alive, connecting with your friends and family, doing things that bring you joy, and making money while you're doing it in some way, shape, or form. So yes, it might be about writing the book, but it's about so much more. Centered and grounded and trusting, confident and assurance is the opposite. Yes. So usually when we feel overwhelmed, it's not because we don't know what to do. We just don't know what to do next. Right? I see a smile and head nod. Typically, the answer is get the fuck out of your own way. Listen to your own intuition. The 8 energy, when you're in that overwhelm and you feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders and you're not sure of the next steps ahead, sometimes your initial reaction might be to seek outside validation. Come into your own heart first. How do you feel? What do you think is your next step? And then connect to a coach, a mentor, a guide, a friend. Claimed clairvoyance for the first time, still stepping into that power, looking forward to 8 and dragon to support that into abundance. Beautiful. I love all the psychic gifts. I definitely have clairvoyance. Claircognizant is number 1 for me, clairvoyant, and clairsentient, kind of about same. Once I experienced, and I always forget the name of this one, the clair that you smell. Maybe Sierra, you remember what one that is. And I have clairaudient as well too. My team loves speaking to me in song. The 8 energy is about mastering skills within these gifts. You know what your gifts are. They have already come online, and it's about mastering the gifts within them. Okay, we're going to move into soulful strategies. I want to give you some ideas. I want to plant some seeds for things that you can do that will empower you to align with the 8 energy. And then after that, I'm going to go into predictions emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically, what's going to happen for 2024. And then we'll wrap with some really good, fun, juicy things. Clairsalience, thank you. Clear sense of smell. One time it happened, and we were in the middle of the woods. I was with my cosmic love, and we were hiking through the forest, heading towards the water, and both of us got hit with it at once. And we looked at each other and said, "Did you smell that?" It was a very pleasant smell, but it was not a natural scent from like a plant, a flower, a tree. It wasn't water. It was something completely different. And then we felt a cold rush of air at the same time. And then I was like, I think we just ran through an entity, and we both had the shivers and goosebumps. And I'm like, I'm going to trust that and keep going at the same time. And we headed to the water after that. You got shivers when I said that. Yeah. It's really cool when it happens. Yeah. Okay. Soulful Strategies. These are a part of the ebook that I sent out. You had immediate access to that download. If you're accessing the 2024 energy forecast through the digital Soulful Planner and workbooks, it will be within your course in Kajabi. And when I send out the replay, I'll send out another link in the email. It's already been sent via email, but I'll send it out again to make sure that you have a copy of the ebook, the download. And again, it's all in the Soulful Planner. It's in the digital versions, and it's in the printed versions that you can purchase on Amazon as well. So the number 1 soulful strategy for 2024, manifest like a boss. This one was a little bit tough for me because there's so much bullshit online about manifestation, and you just have to think it and you just have to believe it, and then it shows up. And it's not necessarily the case. There's some missing parts in terms of manifestation. Yes, our thoughts shape our reality, but our feelings and our emotions come from the intelligence of our heart. And the heart's intelligence is 5,000 times stronger than that of the mind. So the thoughts are important, but more important than that is how we want to feel. And more important than how we want to feel is how we want others to feel. Our family, our friends, our community, and the world. And in order for us to feel how it is that we want to feel, we give those feelings away. We get clear. on how we want to feel. And then we take inspired action to feel that way and to support others to feel that way as well. So it's a combination of thoughts plus feelings and inspired action that create our reality. I see this time and time again, especially in the younger generations and the scammy coaches that are out there. The missing piece that many people tell about manifestation is the inspired action. You can't just sit back and expect the universe to give you what you're thinking and what you're feeling. The challenge is the feminine has been stripped away from so many of us, regardless of our gender. It's been suppressed for so long that when we're manifesting, we do think we have to do a lot, work harder. The more productive I am, it's connected to my worthiness. And that's a fallacy. That's a lie. But there is action to be taken, and it's inspired action. And what I mean by that is it's aligning with your thoughts and aligning with your feelings. The choices that you are making, the things that you are doing are in alignment with the compass of your heart, your values. So, how it is that you want to feel and the values you want to embody, the thoughts that you are thinking, and you are coming from that place. The mind, the heart, and the hands, head, heart, hands, to create the reality. So, here's an example. In 2024, if your word or your heart compass is abundance, which would make sense because it's the year of infinite abundance. So you're going to choose your heart compass as abundance. Generosity will be a part of your conscious business plan. You're going to think in abundance. I am enough and there is enough, and I reclaim the power of infinite abundance. And an inspired action that you might take what would be an inspired action that you could take in life to claim abundance? Making dinner for your partner. Taking the time to be present with another person. Giving generously. Quality time with family. Giving doesn't always have to be about money, right? We can give money, we can give time, we can give the gift of presence, right? Slowing down. Yes. In my business, as soon as I hear of any of my soulmate clients having hardship, I say, come to the Conscious Business Collective for free. Every month, the first Wednesday of the month, it's going to shift in January because I'm on vacation, but every month I connect for 2 hours with spiritual entrepreneurs all over the world. It's a sacred container I've already created for many people, and it's an easy way for me to give. It's an easy way for people to receive, and it's part of my generosity. It doesn't take anything more out of me to invite somebody into that container for free for as long as they need. In business, our opt-ins, that beautiful gift that you create for somebody. This forecast is a part of it. The ebook I created is a part of it. The additional trainings and the workshops for the Soulful Planner is a part of it. Giving my gift of healing to those that need it. Exactly. We're moving into holiday season, and we get to get activated and triggered by spending time with our family again, right? just when you think you've mastered something, just go hang out with your family. This is a beautiful opportunity for us to practice generosity and for us to practice abundance. Yes, gift giving is a part of it, but that's not what I'm talking about. The meal, making the meal together, sitting down and being present for that meal, holding the light for your family. You know that Aunt so and so is going to be the complainer, and you're going to rise above. You're not going to take the bait like you always do. You're just going to give her a hug. And, look her straight in the eyes and say, I love you. It's great to see you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, whenever it is. Manifestation, thoughts, feelings, inspired action equals reality. Manifesting, for me, is about being specific. The universe, God got us all that is, likes it when we're specific. This is a be careful what you wish for PSA. If you're not clear, you're going to get exactly what it is that you want. Here's a funny example. I was in an 11-year relationship, wonderful person, definitely, not my guy on some levels, but because he was so wonderful, had a difficult time ending that relationship. I wanted cosmic love again. And so when I was ideating and visualizing and casting that vision of cosmic love from the future into the here and now, I made a list of all of the things that I felt and thought that cosmic love was and what I was going to do about it to call that in. And my inspired action was about prayer, was about meditation, was about journaling, was about being grateful for the amazing things that I had had in that 11-year relationship. One of the things that I loved about that 11-year relationship is that he cleaned the house all the time. He constantly reorganized the house. And I mean, like I would come home and the couch would be in a different place and the TV would be in a different place. And not only did he rearrange the furniture, but he cleaned the floors under the couch. He wiped the baseboards. He wiped down the walls. He cleaned all the windows. It was wonderful. Never had orgasms, but I definitely had a clean house all the time, right? I forgot to put that on my list, that I wanted that in my next cosmic love relationship. So when I moved into that new relationship and we got into our own home, I thought I did all the things. I'm like, well, how do you want it to feel? And he said, I want it to feel like home. I'm like, me too. Well, my idea of home is clean, decluttered, organized, aesthetically pleasing, tapping into that 6 energy of my previous partnership. And he said, I work too much. Yeah, I don't do that. And I said, well, my love, my cosmic love, if you're not going to contribute to that, then I'll expect the house cleaner every 2 weeks on your bill. It's one that's okay. We've managed. And the cool thing is, I've understood now that when he does choose to clean and organize, he actually does a way better job than I do. He just doesn't do it as often. So I do the day to day, and then the deep cleans is when I call in his expertise. He's the fellow that does show up with all the little containers and labels things and puts things just so. Be specific. I shared this in the Conscious Business Collective yesterday. When I was 16 years old, my mom had 3 jobs. She was a single mom. And after basketball practice, I would go meet her at one of her jobs. I would get groceries and then I would go sit and wait for her to be done work. And the grocery store had a sweepstakes. Remember those? And I would fill out the backs of them. But because I wasn't 18, I had to put my mom's name on it because I wasn't eligible to win. And the big grand prize was a minivan. We won. We had to pay the taxes for the prize. And we didn't have that. She was a single mom, 2 kids, 3 jobs. The universe had our back, and the grocery store forgot to put the order in for the minivan. So when they had her come in for the skill testing question, which was ridiculous, it was something like, what's 7 + 3? And she's like 10. They're like, you win, you get it, hooray. They said, but Miss Mackenzie, we've made a mistake and we haven't placed the order for the minivan. We're so sorry. Would you accept the cash prize, cash value instead? Yeah, we will. It was $18,000. My friends were livid. They're like, how are you not angry? You won that $18,000 and your mom didn't give you any of it. And I said, she's a single mom, roof over our head, keeping food in my belly. She deserves this. And you know what? And I was very cavalier about it. I'm like, the universe is going to give me $18,000 another time. I got this. And I truly believed it. I really did. A couple months later, I got into a car accident on the way to an Aerosmith concert. Shattered my elbow. Didn't have my seatbelt on, thankfully, because my face would have went through the dashboard or the windshield because the seat didn't lock in the car. So the person behind pushed the car seat and pushed me forward. Because I didn't have my seatbelt on, I tucked down on the floor and it was my elbow that took the hit. So it was the 1 in a trillion moments where you were lucky that you weren't wearing a seatbelt. 2 years later, when I was 18 years old, I got the final settlement. Minus the amount for not wearing my seatbelt was exactly $18,000. Learned my lesson in manifestation to be specific. Now, when I ask for large sums of money in a way that doesn't harm my body, doesn't harm other people, right? I get very specific. And this is the most important part of it, and it's connected to increasing our capacity for abundance. If not this, then something better. So be it, and so it is. If not this, then something better. So be it, and so it is. God got us all that is spiritual support team. I am grateful for what I am calling in. If there is something greater, something better that I cannot see, that I cannot feel, that I am not thinking about, I call that in as well. I trust. If not this, then something better. 2, niche down. I cannot stress this enough for spiritual entrepreneurs. Niche down. Get really clear on who your soulmate clients are and call them in. When you try to be everything to everybody, you end up being nothing to nobody. Your message gets muddled. It's a busy world. I'm just revamping my website and doing my best to launch it before Mercury goes retrograde. And I spoke to my team about it and I said, I work with a lot of people that have one energy, multiple ones, like 4 ones all the time, all the time. Should I put that on my homepage? Should we include that? And they're like, yes, absolutely. They're like, what does that look like? I said, we need to speak to the ideators. We need to speak to the innovators. We need to speak to the people who are not afraid to start something. We want to speak to the people who have too many ideas and they think that too many ideas is their problem. And it's not their problem. Their challenge is taking that idea, anchoring into it, and being able to craft out a plan to bring that idea to fruition and know that that's the right path, that's the right idea for them because it's in alignment with their energetic code. I work with 4 of hearts. That's my soulmate client. The 4 of hearts wants success and cosmic love without sacrificing one or the other. We speak to that. They said, oh, you mean moms? No, it doesn't mean that I don't work with moms, but it means I work with people who are devoted to having deep, meaningful relationships with their clients, with their friends, with their soul family. Yes, it could be with their children or their husband, but not specific to moms. That person that wants cosmic love. So niche down, get really specific. This is one of my areas of expertise, and I can support you with that if that's something that you're struggling with. Incorporate more play. The 8 energy wants you to tap into higher levels of joy. This is what it means to be a creative master of your gifts. It's the joy. It's what did you love to do as a child, and start to integrate that play. That play is also calling in more of that feminine energy. And again, we are here to balance out the masculine and feminine. It relates to manifesting like a boss as well. If you're always in the masculine, not going to manifest. Always in the feminine, not going to manifest. Balance the two, harmonize the two, have them work together, find the flow, traverse both sides of the hustle and the heart. And yes, hang out in that sweet spot, but have fun with what it is that you're doing. The moment that you're not having done fun, stop and go do something else. Go have fun, go have joy, go to the beach, stare at the ocean. This is what I do because this is where I live. Go for a walk in the woods, play some music, dance, whatever brings you joy, tap into that, and then come back to what it is you're working on. If it's something that's, that kind of have to do it, we have to do our book, say, for example, in business, and maybe that's not something that you love doing, but play some amazing music, play some fun music, funny music about calling in abundance while you're doing your books. Incorporate more play, more yin and less yang. I love this one. I laughed when my spiritual support team said this to me. I'm like, of course we're going to bring humor into this. They're like, just say it exactly like that, more yin and less yang. Because again, it's fun. It brings in some humor. And it literally is, you all know masculine energy. You all know how to do too much. You all know how to create to-do lists. We don't do that anymore. We create to-do lists. This is about rest. This is about relaxation. This is about nourishment. This is about nurturing as well. And again, that's supporting, traversing both sides. Practice the law of momentum. The law of momentum is about making tiny deposits consistently, taking baby steps consistently that support us in creating those quantum leaps. This is also something else that, like, 2023 amplified our bullshit detector, and you can see the people out there, oh, let's just take a quantum leap. And they're not actually guiding people to understand what quantum leaps are. We collapse timelines by consistently making tiny deposits. 1% a day. If you commit to getting your thoughts, your feelings, and your inspired action online and improve it by 1% a day, by the end of 2024, you will have made 365% improvement in something. 111, as I said that. In doing that, you will be better than approximately 90% of the population in that one thing that you choose to do by improving it by 1% a day. 1% a day. Again, this year is about accepting your gifts. So aligning with your purpose, amplifying your gifts, and activating divine prosperity. By amplifying your gifts, figure out how to master skills within your gifts of your business. So for example, you might be an incredible healer. You might be an amazing channeler. You might be a wonderful numerologist that can do energy forecasts. But what's the point of hosting this event if I never speak to anybody again that comes online to this event? In 2023, I had 440 new emails, new people come into my world because of that. If I didn't send them an email sequence after that funnel, they would not have booked a reading. They wouldn't have asked me to be interviewed on their podcast. They wouldn't have joined my Conscious Business Immersion program. So you could be really good at this one thing, coaching, but are you good at attracting your soulmate clients, for example? Are you good at creating an opt-in? Have you mastered the skill of a funnel? Have you mastered the skill of managing your money? So choose a skill that you are mastering and make tiny deposits that are consistent. Number 6, be willing to be seen and heard. I brought this up in 2023 and it was a hot topic. If you have a difficult time being seen and heard, it is related to a wounded feminine energy within you. At some point in your life, a masculine energy did not see you, hear you, feel you, accept you for who it is that you truly are. And so typically what happened is we moved into the masculine and we did more. See me, hear me, accept me. Look at the straight A's, look at the captain, look at the president, look at the new job, look at the car, look at the house, look at the family. I don't understand why I'm still unhappy. We have a visibility wound. If we were witches, do you consider yourself a witch in this lifetime, or you know that you've been a witch in a previous life? We still carry that witch wound. We're afraid to be seen and heard because at one point we were literally burnt at the stake for telling somebody that lavender can help you sleep better. And here we are saying, lavender can help you sleep better. I just want you to know. I just want you to know that 8 energy is about abundance and you deserve abundance. Okay? Yep. Okay, cool. And we get fearful to be visible, to be seen and be heard. This is the time to stand in that power. This is the time to heal those wounds, the witch wounds, the feminine, and to stand in our power and be okay with being seen and heard. Because again, that low vibration of the 8 energy is playing small. You are not here to play small. Your soul had a contract with yourself in this lifetime to come to Earth School for this purpose, for this reason, with these gifts and these spiritual assignments. So go and do that and be that and share your story. Be authentic, be vulnerable. If something isn't healed yet, don't share that. That's too vulnerable. That pushes you way outside of your comfort zone and you're going to be scared to do it again. That's like going to the gym for the first time in 3 years and doing 250 squats and then not being able to sit down to go pee the next day, having to hold on to the tub to sit down and pull you back up again. You're not going back to the class on Thursday night. So let me tell you, you're probably not going next week either. So you don't want to put yourself that far outside of your comfort zone that you'll get so scared and you won't make that step out again. So consider things that have been healed, a part of your story that you have healed almost close to. That's what you're sharing. If something is still showing up in your throat, if you're not comfortable with vulnerability yet, if you go to speak something and it sits in your throat chakra and then it comes into your third eye and you want to cry, you're not ready to share that yet. I've practiced vulnerability. I'm okay with standing on a stage in front of hundreds and hundreds of people, even thousands, and being vulnerable and having that lump in my throat and the tears in my eyes and saying it anyways, because I've practiced, because I've mastered that skill, because I have taken tiny, tiny steps, those little deposits consistently. Since I was in grade school, I was going into public speaking competitions. That's why I can do it. So be willing to be seen and heard. Start with the healed stories. Start speaking your truth. This is the rise of the heart conscious leader. Heart conscious leaders challenge. They challenge anything and everything that is standing in the way of our inner sovereignty. Speak it. Call it out. We can't possibly expect change if we keep doing the same thing over and over again. If we keep accepting things as a status quo, when in our hearts and our intuition and our psychic abilities and our spiritual support team is screaming, make this different, change this, raise this vibration. We can't do that again if we are holding back. The mastery of it, of a heart conscious leader, is learning how to speak your truth, but with loving kindness and compassion and empathy. It's okay to say that something is not okay. If you're being triggered, know that it's an activation portal. You're being activated again to heal and to raise that vibration. Through that activation, through that trigger, if you catch yourself wanting to react the same way that you've always reacted, you're going to get the same outcome. So change your reaction and therefore change the outcome. Number 7, don't ask for permission. I've spoke about this before. If your intuition is leading you in a direction, don't ask somebody else, do you think I should start a podcast? Yes, do it. If you do need that validation, send me a DM. I'm really good at, I don't want to tell you what to do, but do it. If you have the idea, the thought to start a podcast, and that's what your heart's calling is, do it. Well, I don't know how to start a podcast. Figure it out. You're going to figure it out. Here's a bunch of resources. Here's a bunch of people who have already started a podcast and are successful. And their course is really affordable. And they've laid it all out for you step by step. Figure it out. Master the skill. And then get the help that you need. Lastly, for Soulful Strategies, honor your cycles. We're all going to have different cycles. As females, I think almost everybody on the call is a female. We have our 28-day cycles. We should be planning based on our 28-day cycles. That is the feminine cycle. And yet the matrix is created in a masculine world. This 24-hour clock is masculine. And when people say, I'm just day by day, I don't plan ahead, I'm like, you're way too much in the masculine. How's that working out for you? Understand the manifestation cycles. The Soulful Planner, this forecast, you're starting to understand the energetic patterns of the universe. Honor those cycles. It's a 1 energy month. Cast a vision, visualize, meditate. Create space for divine downloads and heart sparks. Ideate, brainstorm, make a vision board. Try something new, do something you've never done before. Honor the cycle. It's an 8 energy day. Look at what I'm doing. Generously giving hours of my time, sharing all of my wisdom to support you in 2024, to empower you to create a handcrafted life and business that you love. That's by design, on purpose. And so I trust that this message will be amplified and support me and you in connecting to the infinite abundance of this 8 energy. Honor your cycles, honor the seasons. The summer and the winter are dark seasons. So rest, nurture yourself, relax more, take time off. Practice good sleep hygiene. The fall, the spring, more light. Book your retreats. Go on vacation with friends at that time. Launch something new. Honor your cycles. What do you think? What do you feel? What's that inspiring you to do, hearing those soulful strategies? What's one big takeaway that you got from that? Honor our cycles. Matrix is created by design to throw us off our cycles. For example, we have 12 months. Based on the moon cycles, there's 13 moons. We should have 13 months. It's by design. When we are out of sync with the natural rhythm and cycle, we are easier to control. So figure out your cycles. Take action. Yeah, please don't be in action all the time. Sometimes the best action is having a nap. Take one thing and start to work on it, planning and building it. Yes, everything takes 3 times as long as we think. Honestly, coming from a woman who just decided to launch something on Amazon, everything takes triple time. I'm going to launch a podcast. It's going to take me triple the amount of time. Think about that, right? Honor your cycles, map things out, but take one thing and just work on that and build on that. You've taken a million things. Thank you, Kim. Oh, yes. Thank you for being here. I know many people can't stay for the whole time. Just catch the rest of the replay. There's a lot of goodness still coming up. I've got predictions that I'm going to share. I need to be putting in that 1% daily. Yeah. 1%. When we think about it that way, it's manageable, right? It's doable. And again, remember, and I'm saying this, it's 1, 2, 3. 8 energy can cause overwhelm. We get overwhelmed when we start to think of all the things that we have to do and everything that's going to be involved in it. But if we map it out and create a conscious plan, that's why I added the conscious business plan into the Soulful Planner this year. If you break it down bit by bit, piece by piece, bite by bite, it seems more manageable, right? If not this, then something better. Boom, right? Yeah, it feels so good. Tap into the feminine side and slow down. Slowing down is how we speed up. Oh my gosh, this has been a life lesson of mine. And guys, I'm still in it. I'm a recovering A-type. I still feel the guilt and shame. I'm about to take a 2-week vacation. And in my mind, I'm like, I have so much to do. I can't. It's busy season. But it's what I need to do. Yeah, I see a hand raised. Yes. Think about it like this. It's like we're pulling back the bow with the arrow. We need time to do that. We can't just be like pew, 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 everywhere. Maybe we want to be, but pull that back, slow down, take time to figure out where you're aiming before you release that arrow. One of the number one reasons I built a business, and I started this in 2015 as a side hustle. I mean, I had these big plans. I'm like, and I'm going to have a baby and I'm going to go on mat leave. Then I'm never going to go back to my job. And the universe laughed at me for trying to be over controlling A-type that I was. And a lot of those things didn't happen, but I did quit in 2018, stood in my power, walked away, built this business, did really well my first few years. And then, as everybody knows, the world shuts down and I had to pivot and shift and change everything. And one of the biggest lessons that I learned from all of this is my why is important. And there is layers upon layers upon layers upon layers of why I do what it is that I do. One of the reasons why I do what it is that I do is so I can sleep however late I want. That's a big why. I have PMDD and adenomyosis. And now, lucky me, I'm going into perimenopause. I get knackered. I understand my cycle and I need and want to honor that cycle to nourish and nurture myself. Came 15 days late. This was planned to be in the middle of my cycle when I'm high vibing. My body, the universe is like, nah, we're just going to make it 2 weeks late. And so you're going to be on day 3 of your cycle. Try and tap into as much energy as you can to be able to show up. So guess what I did before this? Nothing. That's why I built this business. So I can be the inner authority of my life and of my business. Why do we do what we do? So I can work with my soulmate clients. Why do we do what we do? So I can call in cosmic love. Why do we do what we do? So I can bust my ceiling cap of income. Why do we do what we do? So I can take 4 vacations a year. Why do we do what we do? So I can heal parts of myself that still want to be healed and guide other people to do the same. Why do we do what we do? Because I made a soul contract. And the wounded feminine energy is so good. Heal that. Yes, yes, yes. Because again, 8 doesn't want us to play small anymore. And if we're still playing small, and I thought I was playing big. Like, I've built this business. I'm doing it. I've created something sustainable. Like a lot of people, 2023 threw some curveballs at me, and I've had to manage that and deal with that. But then I did one session in the Akashic Records with this goddess queen. And she said, do you know you're only accessing 40% of your potential right now? I'm like, wait, what? I thought it was kind of a big deal. She's like, well, you are, but you're only about 40%. Keep going. I'm like, okay, I think 2024 is going to help me with that 1%. Instead of getting into the big stuff, I'm like, what's the 1% I'm going to work on? All right, let's tap into the predictions. So, again, these are channeled messages that came through with my spiritual support team that I work with. They're very much in alignment with that 8 energy. They make sense on many levels. We're going to break them down by emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical. A lot of the physical pieces that I'll share are my predictions, our predictions for business, yes, and life, but particularly in business, because again, I call in a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs. That's who I work with. Emotionally, we're still going to be healing grief, anger, depression, denial. These are all part of grief. I had to take a deep breath with that one. Sometimes the grief that we experience has nothing to do with the right here, right now. It could have something to do with our inner child or a version of ourselves many decades ago, or sometimes in another lifetime. We're going to keep working on accepting the mirrors that we will be shown and to move it into a state of harmony with that 8 energy. Emotionally, our addictions will come to light this year. Addictions come in many shapes and forms. Particularly, workaholic energy is going to show up. It's not a vibration or a frequency to stay in. Our addictions mask feelings that we are afraid to feel. Maybe we think they're too painful. Call in the strength and courage of the 8 energy to transmute the addictions, to transmute the feelings that we have suppressed and we have hidden and we have stuffed. And ask for the help that you need. Do not do this alone. One of the most magical and incredible healing experiences that I went through was with a guide and a horse. And we have somebody on the call today that does this work as well. Horses have a heart that's 5 times bigger than ours. So they got it going on with what we are feeling. And it was so interesting when it came through for me. I remember saying to my partner, I need to go back to therapy. And he said, are you okay? And I said, I am. I just want some support. I just want some help. It's like taking your muscles to the gym. I'm like, I just want to take my emotions to a place and create this sacred container so I can heal a few more things. But at the time, I didn't have benefits. And we were still in this state of like, what's happening with the world? So finances were iffy. And I said, I don't know what it looks like, but it's going to happen. I'm just going to call it in, and I'm going to trust that if this is what's right for me, the universe is going to have my back. And not long after, a friend that I knew from the essential oil world that I used to be in reached out and said, hey, I'm doing this new thing. It's horse therapy. I'm wondering if you're interested in doing this with me in exchange for business advice. I was like, boom, manifesting like a badass. And it was one of the best things that I have ever done. And now that I have somebody that's close to me, I hope to do it again in the very near future with some horses. Animals are beautiful portals for growth. Addictions will come to light. Abundance and gratitude will be a top priority for us. We have been taught that as healers, as light workers, as artists, as creatives, as psychics that we don't deserve abundance. Emotionally, we are going to transmute that and let that go. And gratitude will be one of our strongest heart-centered rituals and practices to implement on a regular daily basis, will become a non-negotiable for us. The anxiety of failing forward will be gone. In other words, as we are mastering these skills, as we are anchoring into being more deeply devoted to our gifts and our purpose, we'll start to realize, if you haven't already, that failure is a part of it. But it's about learning how to fail forward. How do we react to those failures? What do we do about it? I remember my nephew learning how to skateboard. This was probably about 5 years ago. And the poor guy would get so frustrated. He just wanted to do what his uncle did and do all these tricks. And we were trying to teach him that you have to master the basics, the foundations. And I'm going to talk about that more in a moment. But you got to master the basics, the foundational pieces of skateboarding before you can do tricks. And he said, well, I do, but I fail. And I remember saying to him, this is how it's going to work. You're going to try, and then you're going to fail. And then you're going to try again, and you're going to fail. You're going to try again and fail, and try and fail, and try and fail, and try and fail. Then you're going to try, and you're going to get it. Can you believe in that? Do you trust me? And he said, yeah, I could see him energetically shift. I said, so what are we going to do about it? He goes, well, I guess I'm just going to keep trying, Auntie Annie. And this boy would have meltdowns. Oh, he would have tears at the skate park. The poor thing, just wanting to be the master of it, but without putting in the work. So when he accepted that there's work to be put in and that he was going to do the work and he was going to fail multiple times before he got it, that's when he started to succeed. The next time he went to the skate park was with his grandma, and his grandma was worried. Grandma was worried. And she said, you know, every time I brought him there was this meltdown. And then the whole day is about the meltdown and, you know, fixing his hurt from not getting it. And he started skateboarding and he fell down and he didn't do it, but he didn't react. He just got up and he tried again. And he did this multiple times. And then grandma praised him and said, wow, I'm so proud of you. You just keep getting back up and trying. And he said, well, that's what my Auntie Annie taught me. We try, we fail, we try, we fail, we try, we fail, we try, we fail, Grandma, but then we get it. And lo and behold, he's an amazing little skateboarder. There's a lot to be learned from that 7-year-old boy to us adults, right? We forget that. We get anxiety about failing because what does it say about us? Who's going to judge us for it? And here's the thing, especially us entrepreneurs, we go into business and we think it's going to be our family and we think it's going to be our friends, and it's not. They're not going to get it. They will not get it. And if you're trying to do it for them, you won't be successful because it's your soulmate clients that you are building this business for. You're speaking to the wrong people. So if that anxiety is coming up, well, what's my dad going to think about me? Or what's my best friend going to say if I decide to be a business strategist? It's going to be more difficult. So find a community, find a group of other people that get it. That's why I built the Conscious Business Collective. I have entrepreneurs from all over the world. We get it. We get each other. We understand how to fail forward, and we take fears and anxieties and we shift and change and transform them. So emotionally, that's how we're going to get online in 2024. Mentally, scarcity mindset, this whole not enough, there's not enough, I'm not enough, our worth will come online. And when I'm saying these things, yes, in some ways, You can expect your addictions to show up. You can expect grief to show up. You can expect anxiety to show up of failing forward. You can expect your scarcity mindset to show up. But that's not what I want you to focus on. You have this knowledge, you have this wisdom, it's going to show up. You're going to prepare for it. So when your scarcity mindset shows up and you're feeling like you're not enough and that you're not worthy, the important thing is you know what to do. You're going to lean on those soulful strategies. Again, the biggest lie that we've been told is that we're not enough and that there's not enough. And they did that to us, right? In 2023, the Matrix scared or tries to scare everybody into there's not enough. They jack the prices of everything to make you think and feel that there's not enough, because again, you move into a state of fear rather than love. It's easier for them to control and get what it is that they want, as in hoard all of the abundance for themselves. There's enough. You are enough. We are enough. There is enough to go around. Competition is an illusion and one of the biggest energetic blocks. Comparison is an illusion and a big energetic block. Complaining is an energetic block. Scarcity mindset is going to be transmuted. Believe in your purpose. Dharma alignment. This is mental and spiritual as well. One of the things that I predict this year is so many people are going to believe in themselves to a much higher degree than they ever have before. So many more people are going to accept this was the contract that my soul made in this lifetime. I chose to come to Earth School. And everything and everybody in the galaxy really looks at Earth School like you're a big fucking deal. So accept it, because Earth School is so dense. It's so slow sometimes, right? Who has impatience? Yes, yes, yes. We're like, when am I going to get this already? Our impatience shows up. This understanding of, oh, right, these are the spiritual assignments that I chose in this lifetime. I'm like, oh, silly me, I forgot. But I'm remembering again. I'm coming back online. I get this. I'm awakening. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I'm just going to go do that. Mentally, there's going to be this shift. And spiritually, there's that shift. Dharma alignment is my number one prediction. Knowing your purpose. It's not a coincidence that out of nowhere, numerologies become popular. Guys, this was like created in Atlantean times, shifted into Egypt, moved into the hands of Pythagoras, got woven into a deck of cards, was hidden from the order of the Magi, a group of men, surprise, surprise, not to knock the masculine. But we're like, hey, we're intuitive goddesses, whether we're male or female, doesn't matter what our gender is. We are intuitive, and we all deserve to have this information. In fact, we know it. We just forgot. And you did that to us on purpose. Our soul does this when we come into Earth. It's this cosmic joke, right? You're like, you are everything. You are worthy of everything. You are enough. But I'm gonna put you here on Earth, and you're gonna forget it all. You're gonna forget your purpose, your gifts. You're going to forget that abundance is your birthright. And I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to give you all these spiritual assignments that will support you to remember who it is that you are and what you're here to do. 2024, that will happen on a much grander scale. The quickening is going to happen this year. I really focused on being a manifesting badass because there's a quickening that's happening. Again, be careful what you wish for. Get clear and concise. Improve your capacity to receive, your capacity for abundance, because there will be this quickening that's going to happen with our manifestations. again, we're coming to the end of a manifestation cycle. 2025 will be this 9 energy year. So in 2025, it will be bringing things to a close. So what we started in that 1 energy year, and then there's our personal cycle as well. What we started back then is going to start to want to come into a close. So there's going to be a quickening. Universe will be like, okay, yep, here's everything that we did, and we're going to call this in to bring it to fruition, to bring it into completion in 2025. Spiritually, I also, one of the biggest predictions, and again, this relates to the wood dragon as well, and the 8 being fire, there's going to be a burning it down. Anything that's getting in our way and blocking us being our own inner authority and having sovereignty within our lives is going to be burnt down. People, places and spaces, habits, contracts, jobs, aspects of our business. I was shocked. There is somebody that I admire. I understand a little bit of human design. I'm not a huge fan of it. It was developed in 1970 and it's overly complicated. So there's a lot of gatekeeping that happens in the human design world. So it has its place, and it definitely has its magic, and it supports people to understand their dharma purpose, but it's not as simple as numerology. That's what I love about numerology, is we've been working with numbers since we were so young. We have decades and decades and decades of experience already with numbers. And this was created, again, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. It's ancient wisdom. It's not something that was created about 50 years ago. So there's a power to numerology. Where I was going with this, though, is that there is this one person that I admired because she took human design and coupled it with business. And it helped me go, hey, I can do that too, but with numerology. If she can do it, I can do it. And I noticed just a couple days ago, she's like, I'm burning it down. I'm done. I'm not even going to sell it. And I think she could sell it for a pretty penny, what she's created. She's like, I'm done. Just doesn't feel in alignment anymore. I'm going to do something else. Like, shit, that's crazy. And this woman is super successful. There's going to be this burning it down. Anything that's energetically blocking us. We talk about this all the time in my conscious business immersion program. Are you energetically open? Are you energetically open to life? Are you energetically open to business, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and physically? If we are not energetically open somewhere, we're going to burn it down. Because we're going to protect where we want to master our gifts. We're going to protect what we're committed to. We're going to protect the deeper devotion to our gifts, to our creativity, and anything else, we're going to burn it down. If it's not in alignment with your heart compass and your values, burn it down. With loving kindness, as always. Spiritually, our capacity for abundance is going to increase. Again, as we step into practicing the law of momentum, more yinnin, less yangin, mastering, traversing both sides, the masculine, the feminine, the light, the dark, the negative, the positive. We're going to increase our capacity for abundance because we're nourishing and nurturing ourselves to a much higher degree. Our health and wealth being is our number one priority, always. Yes, we build out conscious business plans and we create soulful strategies and conscious business immersion. But the first thing that we do for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks is get our self-care and figure out our wealth being mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically first. Before we create an offer, before we figure out what we're really good at, before we understand who our soulmate clients are, it's like, how are we going to take care of ourselves first? Because we cannot take care of other people. We can't give from an empty cup. So how are we going to replenish our cup on a consistent basis? Capacity for abundance. physically, we're going to have higher cash flows. Yay! Let's pop in the chat if you're excited for higher cash flows in 2024. Again, this is all related to if you're mastering your skills and you're building out your systems and your structures, then higher cash flow is going to come through because of it. Let me know if this has already started happening for you as well. Somebody boasted in the Conscious Business Collective yesterday that they had one of their highest cash months. Yes, yes, yes. We're all down with that. So, along those lines, have a conscious business life spending plan. Money loves intention. Money loves to flow and move. Again, 8, right? Flow. So have a conscious spending plan. Before you make that list of these are all of my expenses to run my business, these are all of my expenses to take care of myself in life, look at how you want to consciously spend your money first and build out from there. So when you know, in order for me to have this handcrafted life and business that I love, that calls in more joy, that calls in more freedom, that calls in more abundance, that calls in more love, this is the money that's related to it. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm who I'm hanging out with. These are the spaces and places that I'm occupying. These are how many vacations I'm taking. This is how many books I'm buying. This is, every season I'm going to update my wardrobe, increase your capacity for abundance, because your worth is going to come online, because you'll remember that you're enough. You are worthy of all of this. So create that conscious spending plan. And this is something we're going to dive deep into in the Conscious Business Immersion in 2024, bigger than we ever have before. Physically, incorporate more play. We've already talked about that. But the heart-centered ritual for 2024 is remember what you loved to do as a child and do that now. My therapist did one of the best things for me in a session one day. And I remember I was building my business and I said, I have a lot of fears and I have a lot of anxieties and I'm worried. I'm worried about what I'm building. And she said, why? And I said, what if it's not the right thing? Like, what if I go through all of this time and energy and effort and investment and I'm not happy still and I don't have joy? What then? I've already wasted so much time doing things that I don't love for other people. I don't want to do that again. I want to be so intentional and so focused. And she said, okay, I'm just going to throw this out there, but what'd you love to do as a kid? I was like, what? This does have to do with what I'm talking about. And she said, just, hear me out, humor me, tell me. I said, well, I thought about it. I said, I lived on a farm with my grandparents, and my grandma would feed them lunch, and I would go into her sewing room and she had awesome buttons, and I would set up the buttons with my cash register, and after they were done their lunch I would come in and ask them to buy my buttons. And she said, okay, what else? I said, I had this big green chalkboard and all these different colored chalk, and I would line up my Cabbage Patch Kids and all my stuffies and I would teach them stuff. And she goes, okay, cool, you play teacher, what else? And I said, well, I used to love writing books. My first one was The Adventures of Snowy Owl. It was co-authored book by my friend Amy. I don't wish I lived in the digital age, but I do wish I had a copy or a photo of it. It was really amazing. We did our own illustrations. It was wonderful. And I love those choose your own adventure books. So I used to make those choose your own adventure books. And with my friends, I loved creating books with them where like I would write a paragraph, like when we're supposed to be doing math or something in school, and I'd send it on to my friend and then they would add to the story and we would just build these stories together. And she was like, so let me get this straight. You were an entrepreneur who taught people things and you created books and courses. I'm like, yeah. She goes, that's what brought you joy as a kid. I'm like, yeah. She goes, what are you doing in your business? I'm like, exactly that. And she goes, I think you're on the right path. Tap into what you love to do as a kid. If it was riding horses, ride horses. If it was checking out abandoned houses, I mean, don't do that, but maybe go check out haunted houses in your community, right? Old museums. If it was drawing, start drawing and coloring again. Physically, our outer world will be a reflection of that inner world again. An inner world will be a reflection of our outer world. So if you're feeling off, then change your environment. If you're feeling off, get on a meditation pillow, pray, get outside into nature. Just change something up. Business predictions. Make generosity a part of your business plan. BizFlix, not Netflix. So think very short videos. I'm just going to pause for a second and check the chat. Yes, starting to happen. A contract negotiated since 2021 finally came through yesterday. Yay! I'm celebrating you. That's amazing. That's amazing, amazing. Yes. What can we do when we have no childhood memories? Oh, that's a really good question. Before I answer that, I'm going to throw the question back to you. What do you think you do if you have no childhood memories? I had another soulmate client say this to me. I didn't have a childhood. I was forced to be an adult at a very early age. And I can relate to that. When I was 5 years old, I watched somebody that I love die in front of me. And so I immediately moved into teenager energy when I was 5. And by the time I was 10 years old, when my little brother was born, I moved into adult. By 12, I was a full-on adult. A soulmate client experienced something very different. And I said, okay, but you still did something as a child. So what did that look like? And she goes, oh, it was just very adult stuff. Like I'd gather all these people, all the kids in my community, and we'd go to the grassy meadow area and we would just daydream and look at the clouds. And I said, so you supported people to change their perspective, to shift their vision? And she said, yes. And I said, what do you do now for your soulmate clients? And she literally works in an industry, in the spa industry. She's renowned all over the world. And she supports spa and wellness businesses to change their vision so they can tap into a higher level of abundance. Like it's the same. If you don't even have that, then make it an experiment. Again, play, have fun, say yes to things. I keep getting invitations for rhythmic dance. I'm like, I should do that. I saw an ad in a neighboring community. They have pole dancing classes. I'm like, I should try that. I'm like, who do I know that lives 30 minutes away that might want to try that with me and have some fun? I was invited to a crystal singing bowl, like a sound bath this Saturday. If you're in Squamish and you want details, let me know. And so I'm going to go try that in a geodome in this valley, like in a fairy forest. Try new things. Whatever crosses your path, practice saying yes to it. And if it feels how it is that you want to feel, if it brings you joy, then keep doing it. I hope that helps. Okay, in business, we're almost at the end. Thank you, everybody who's still here with me. So generosity always needs to be a part of our conscious plan, whether it's life or business, but definitely in business, start there. Think BizFlix instead of Netflix. So what's going to be more popular in business this year is those short snippets of video. So here I'm saying this as somebody who just did a 2-hour energetic forecast, and there's going to be probably hundreds and hundreds of people who accept this as a replay. What I'm going to be doing with this is making it into shorter snippets that have captions amongst it. So I can share like these 10, 15, 30-second, 1-minute tidbits of wisdom, because people's capacity to pay attention has decreased in a lot of ways. And sometimes that's what we need. That's the 1%, right? Think about one thing I said today. For example, if not this, then something better. Imagine if every single day we anchored into that energy of if not this, then something better. That could be the one thing that creates a massive amount of change. So shorter connections, memberships, and subscriptions. So in your business, if you do not have offerings that create continuity, that's where it's at. One of the reasons is because live events are going to be more difficult in 2024. We already saw that in 2023, and we're going to see that as a trend in 2024. Self-study, though, is incredible. It's on the rise. It doesn't mean that courses, it doesn't mean that workshops, it doesn't mean that retreats, it doesn't mean that they're not going to happen. It just means that it might be a little bit more difficult. And when you think about it, everything that I've shared, it's because people are mastering their skills. We used to do things like, I don't know if that's what I want to do, but I'm just going to take this course and I'll find out. Or I'm just going to get certified in this. I don't know if I'll implement it, but I'll just find out. People aren't interested in doing that anymore because they're going to have clarity of their vision that they are calling in. They are going to be intentional. They're going to be focused. They're going to have deeper devotion. So that connects to niching down. So if you niche down and you get very clear and specific about who you serve, why you serve them, and what you're going to do, then it's not going to be as difficult. To create that continuity, think about everything that you do that's live and being able to transform it into something that can be offered again and again and again. The 2023 energy forecast, that was my first big year doing it. Again, I had 440 people come into my world because of that and create massive amounts of abundance in my business. I did a forecast in March. It launched in March. I was very intentional with the audience. It was a group of that their audience is understanding how to become psychic. It's a medium podcast. And I had 22 brand new clients. One of the trends that you may have seen in 2023, we used to be able to shift people and have them purchase from us, trust us enough to purchase what we've got going on within like 7 or 8 interactions. That tripled. We're looking at like 20 to 24 interactions. But when you niche down and you get very specific and very clear, even if it's a live event, you do have the ability to collapse timelines and immediately attract soulmate clients. That podcast is out there forever now. That's an example of continuity. Social media is going to continue to be tough for people who have small businesses. Meta is brutal on people with small businesses. I want you to remember, and this is what I predict in 2024, it's existed for a long time, it's going to continue, that social media needs to be used as a way to gather people's emails. Get people onto your email list because you have zero control of what's going to happen on social media platforms. I don't know if you know this, but a couple of years ago, Facebook just shut down in Australia. One day people woke up, Australia wouldn't comply to Facebook's rules and guidelines. And so they're like, fine. And they just shut everybody down. Nobody had access to their timeline. Nobody had access to their friends' timelines. The only thing they still had was the messenger. So they could still message people through Facebook, but it was gone. So imagine if you only built your business in a Facebook group, which that's part of my business, but I asked them for their emails. Are you willing to give me your email so that way we can stay in touch if anything happens on Facebook? So use social media still. Use it as a way to build connection and to nurture relationships, but ask them for something in return. Create reciprocity. Tap into divine prosperity. You're giving on social media, it's part of your generosity, and ask for that flow of abundance to come back by giving people your email. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me know if these are resonating so far. Old school foundations are where it's at now. So I know that we live in this age where we look at, especially the younger generation, and we're like, how are you just showing up being a silly willy on a platform? And now you're being sponsored and making a ridiculous amount of money. That's very rare. It's going to become more and more rare unless those people have old school foundations in business. Again, we're bringing it back to the systems and the structures that are important. Do you know what your vision is? What's your mission? What are the values of what you're building? Who are your soulmate clients? Again, what are the subscriptions and the memberships, like those offers of continuity that you've created that are going to keep your audience alive? optimize your content and capitalize on AI. If you talked to me about this like 6, 7, 8 months ago, I was against AI. I was like, our world's gonna fall because of this. And I was definitely in this doom and gloom state because I was in Atlantis when Atlantis fell, and it was because of the rise of AI, because we let a piece of technology get out of control and get into the wrong hands. Use it for the greater good. Use it to buy back your time, especially if you're a solopreneur. So I've played with it this year and I'm going to continue playing with AI. What I love about it is when I don't have my team to rely on and I want to honor my cycles and I need time to go nourish myself instead of staying in the masculine, I want to move in the feminine. I lean on AI like I would as a part of somebody in my team. So if I'm creating an email and it's about something specific and I'm not getting any ideas, I'll pop it into Chat GPT. I'll say, give me some ideas, write me an email related to calling in abundance. Then I'll go borrow my neighbor's dog, go for a walk, come back, see what's written and go, oh, I like this. That makes no sense. That's not how I would say that. And I just pull some of the ideas and then I weave it in to show up as Anne Marie, not as AI. Same with video. Number one, and I can't wait to dive into this, using AI to capture pieces of your video. There are programs out there already that do that, where we can download a video, it transcribes it, it highlights things for us, it creates chapters for us, highlights the timestamp as well. And because of that, then we can go in, pop that into an app that is by AI and even guide them at 15 minutes. I talk about Soulful Strategies for 2024, create a short 1-minute video from that. This used to take entrepreneurs hours of video editing, hours and hours, and lots of money to pay somebody else to do that. And not that I want people to be out of a job, but let's be real. When we're spiritual entrepreneurs, when we're solopreneurs with very small teams, we have to manage our abundance. Yes, the capacity to call it in, but when we're in a certain state, we can't be constantly throwing out money to solve problems. We have to do so in a way that honors our bank account as well. And AI can support us to do this. Use that valuable content on repeat. Again, small businesses, social media, they're not good to us. Use the same stuff over and over and over again. Pay attention to your analytics. I know how many people I have in my conscious business leaders group, for example. And when I create a video, I can see that 88 people have seen this post or viewed this video. That means that 250 people haven't seen it. Am I worried that Taryn's going to be annoyed that I posted the same thing over again? No. I'm going to trust that she probably needed to see it again as a reminder. Oh, right. Anne Marie has an energy forecast coming up on Thursday. I wanted to do that. Get out of the mindset that we are being a bother to people. Your soulmate clients want to hear from you. And it's okay if we say the same thing over and over again. Planning is nervous system regulation. Failing to plan is planning to fail. Have a plan. Create a conscious business plan. Build the foundations. Figure out your conscious spending plan and go backwards from there. If you want $120,000 years, you're looking at $10,000 months. That means $2,500 weeks. If you want to work X amount of hours, 4 days a week, what does that look like? How much are you calling in? Then what services, systems, and offers are you going to create to generate that much money each day? And then build out a plan. What does that look like? And you know you're going to experiment and you're going to fail. And then you're going to try again. And then you're going to fail. And you're going to try again. And you're going to fail. But you'll figure it out. Planning is nervous system regulation. because it supports us to prepare, and it allows us to ask for the help that we need and delegate the areas that we're not mastering skills in those areas. I'm going to hire out. Money management. If you are not an amazing money manager, now's the time to become an amazing money manager. If not, you will struggle, because again, the year is about reclaiming the power of infinite abundance. If you do not do that, if you do not spend time with your money, if you do not spend time creating that conscious spending plan, budgeting, looking at your expenses, looking at your reports, comparing it to last year, the universe is going to say, well, Annie doesn't really care about abundance then. And it doesn't mean do, it's not a lot of doing, but it's about being aware of it and knowing how to manage it, but managing it like a heart conscious, badass leader. Lean into coaching and education to master your skills. I want to decipher the two. My community has a tendency to be multiple modalities. Like, raise your hand or say yes in the chat, or even list all of your multiple modalities in the chat. I don't think this is about, and I asked for clarification, and my spiritual support team just like leaned in. I said, like, are people, you mean getting certified? And it doesn't mean no, not for certifications, but it means like about mastering those skills. So it's like, well, you're already a numerologist, or you're already a Reiki master, or you're already a business strategist, or you're already an acupuncturist, or you're already an equine therapist. Like, you already have the gifts and the skills or the gifts. Now it's about mastering the skills within those gifts to get it out there into the world. Multi-passionate baby. Right. Yeah. Too many lists to top. Yeah, coach, EFT practitioner, numerologist, right? And so it's not about, it's not about more certifications, like, but it's about like, okay, now I'm these things and I have all of these gifts. How do I mash them up? How do I create a solid foundation and structure and build out the systems and have that beautiful plan to bring it out there into the world? And who's going to help me do that? The Financial Feminist, I'm listening to her podcast, listening to her book, The Law of Divine Prosperity by Marianne Williamson, 10 Times is Easier Than 2 Times by Dan Sullivan. There was one more. Those are my top 3 books, though, and podcasts that I'm leaning on to support me in this in 2024. The coaches and the mentors that I also choose are ones that have already been up the mountain. And I talked about this yesterday in the Conscious Business Collective. This drives me bonkers. This chaps my spiritual ass when I see somebody putting an offering out there and they've never done it before. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, okay, here's an example. It's not a real example. I don't want to use a real example because I don't want to call somebody out. But imagine if somebody showed up and said, I'm going to show you how to write a best-selling novel. Have you ever written a best-selling novel? No? Why do you think that you're the person that's going to coach, mentor, guide me to write a best-selling novel when you've never done it yourself? Have you ever guided anybody to write a best-selling novel? No. What? I'm not going to give you all that money. Look to the coaches and the mentors and the guides who've been doing it, who have climbed the mountain, or at least halfway up the mountain, or who have built the tracks and the trains on the tracks. The tracks might not be complete, but they're like, I've built some tracks. Come on. On the flip side, if you're like, wait a minute, I got to get my stuff out there and I've never done it before, do it. But be authentic and honest with your community. Do you know how far I've gotten in my business because I jump on everybody's beta? As soon as I hear the word beta, I lean in and pay attention. You know why? Because they're going to give away too much. They're going to give it all, and they're going to give it away for next to nothing. And the reason why they do that is because they're experimenting, they're testing, they're figuring it out. And that is a benefit to me. It means that they're taking decades and years of experience, and this is their first time that they're putting it out there into the world. But be careful. Again, ask questions. If you're wanting to launch a podcast and you're going to join a course or a program, ask the person, what's your podcast? Can I listen to it? If you need to build a business plan or strategy, work with somebody who's actually built business plans and strategies. It's something that I'm going to do a better job of in 2024, is telling people how many strategic plans I've created. I've worked with nonprofits, I've worked with corporations, I've worked with companies in the pharmaceutical spaces, in the financial spaces that I don't want to share because our values aren't aligned, but I have done this a lot. But I haven't done a great job of bringing people along for that ride in my journey to let them know that I've climbed this mountain several times. To let people know. Add the personal touch. This is the last prediction. It still works. Sending personal voice notes, sending personalized messages in their DMs. Why don't we just hop on a call and have a conversation? I'm co-authoring a book we've already started about numerology. And every single one of the authors, there's 13 goddesses that have come together, are in that book because of, number one, personal invitation. I supported the publisher to hand select people who are incredible numerologists. So I was like, already they're in alignment. They're a goddess at intuitive numerology. We want their area of expertise. So we sent out personal invites. And then we had personal one-to-one conversations with them. Come on in. You've got questions. We have the answers. Let's have a conversation about it. And we're just waiting on one person, the queen that we are calling in. All of them have said yes. So add that personal touch. When you're building out your conscious business plan, make space for personal connections on so many levels. And I want to say this, it came up yesterday in the Conscious Business Collective where somebody said, like, I'm exhausted. I keep showing up online and nobody's seeing my stuff. And it can look that way and it can feel that way. But trust me, if you're niching down and you're clear, you've aligned with your purpose, you're amplifying your gifts, you know who your soulmate clients are and you're talking to them, they will pay attention. Be consistent. Keep showing up. Keep showing up. It's my cat joining. She's like, it's time for us to hang out. People will pay attention. I promise you. When I was going through my separation, I was vulnerably sharing my story about conscious uncoupling. And it was tough. And out of nowhere, it was about 1.5 years, 2 years after that separation, a friend from high school came back into my world, and we didn't have a falling out or anything, just life happened. And she booked a numerology reading with me. I'm like, this is amazing. I can't wait to see her again. And so we reconnected, and I said, I have to ask, why now? Like, we haven't seen each other in like 20 years. We haven't talked. What brought you back into my world? What made you say yes to a numerology reading? And she said, you know what? When you were going through your separation, it really resonated with me that you shared your story of vulnerability, of conscious uncoupling, and you kept bringing us along for the ride of your journey of calling in cosmic love. And it was so inspirational. And this is where I'm at. I'm in a relationship I don't want to be in, and I want cosmic love. So she saw me, right? She's like, you've climbed the mountain. You might not be on top yet. Maybe I am, matter of perspective. But you're the one to guide me. You're very welcome. The aligning thought is very simple for this year. I reclaim the power of infinite abundance, period. The oil we're going to use is Roman chamomile. It will amplify everything that you are doing this year because that oil represents spiritual purpose and dharma. It's not going to do the work for you, but when you're doing the work, use that essential oil, lean on it, it will amplify it. Ways that we can work together in 2024. I highly recommend getting the 2024 Soulful Planner. For only $44, you can access the digital version weekly or daily, and you get conscious business planning 2-hour masterclass. You get a training on how to use the planner. And if you're a pen to paper person like myself, hop on Amazon. This is the daily. It's big. It's a commitment. It represents reclaiming the power of infinite abundance. The back is beautiful as well. Get your hands on those books. So when you think about it, and I'm speaking in US dollars because the majority of my clients are around the world, the majority are in the States. So for around $110, $120 per purchase, you're looking at $10 a month. That's $10 a month to tap into everything that I was talking about today, to make sure that it's heart over hustle, to honor your cycles, to make a holistic plan. Those are the most affordable and easiest ways to connect with me. And because you've joined the 2024 energy forecast, and if you choose those, you're going to get consistent email support all throughout the year. That's something I'm going to do differently this year. Amplify it, join the Conscious Business Leaders group. It's a Facebook group, it's free. I show up there on a weekly basis, and now moving forward, it'll be on a monthly basis as well to share these energy forecasts live. So call in that abundance, tap into my generosity. That's the most affordable and easiest ways for us to connect. If you're a spiritual entrepreneur and you want to have conscious conversations about this, join the Conscious Business Collective. We gather once a month for 2 hours. We go into the energy forecast. I call in the themes, the predictions, and we talk about them to figure out how to align our life and business and reclaim that power of infinite abundance. If you're interested in a numerology reading, I highly recommend the Spirit of Your Business. It's a 1-day VIP activation day. We go into everything. We go into your energetic code. We figure out who you are as a heart conscious leader, your purpose, the spiritual assignments you're here for, who your soulmate clients are, how you can serve them, the best type of system and structure in your business that's going to support your energetic code and support the management of your energy. And we're going to look at your own personal forecast so we can figure out that clarity of vision to be able to move forward with more intention and more purpose. One thing I'm shifting in 2024, there will not be as many one-to-one offerings. Doing the one-off numerology readings are a great way for me to develop new relationships and get new people into my world, but it's not sustainable energetically for me. So they will be open, but not all the time like they have been in the past. So I'm being very intentional with how often I offer those. So it'll be on a quarterly basis and how many readings I accept. So rather than doing a one-off divine numerology reading, a one-off attracting your soulmate client workshop and reading, and a forecast, doing them all separate, it's all in one beautiful container. So we get access to each other for the whole day. There's support prior and there's support after, and there's also access to the attracting your soulmate client workshops as well. And then conscious business immersion. This is the foundational piece to building your business. It includes everything I've already talked about. You get the spirit of your business, you'll get every single numerology reading, your forecast, you get attracting your soulmate clients, you'll figure out your vision, your mission, your values, why you do what it is that you do, and we'll build out a beautiful conscious business plan for all of that and start to get into the details of soulful strategies to move forward to start attracting soulmate clients immediately. And as I said that, it is 222. Stay tuned for the podcast. Stay tuned for the numerology book that's going to be released in the spring of 2024. that concludes the 2024 energy forecast and predictions. Thank you, everybody, for being here. I'm happy to stay and answer any questions. If there's anything else that you would like me to dive into, any clarification, any questions, any comments, now's the time. You're very welcome. On fire as usual. Thank you. That's so generous of you. Sound Bath Squamish. Yes, message me. Let's do it. Yes. Would love that. Taryn, if you want in on that on Saturday as well, I'll send that to you. It's going to be great. Could you name the books you recommended and podcasts you listened to again? Oh, yes. Sorry about that. Financial Feminist. She's fucking awesome. I love her. I love everything about her. I purchased the audiobook and I slowed down because I realized I want to have pen to paper and I want to journal as I'm reading it. And I'm quite busy right now with the Soulful Planner and the energy forecast and wrapping this year and moving into the next year. So I'm saving it for when I go on vacation. But the Financial Feminist, she has a podcast as well. The Law of Divine Prosperity. I think I have it right in front of me. No, I put it away. The Law of Divine Prosperity by Marianne Williamson. 10 times is easier than 2 times by Dan Sullivan. And his book is more than about just money. And he's absolutely brilliant. I'm going to add a few more. I love the Mind Your Business podcast. He's just so inspirational. In this moment, I'm not remembering his name. He does the Business by Design. If anybody remembers, he's who I aspire to be in terms of Business by Design. My podcast is going to be the AM 311. So when that launches, I highly recommend listening to that one. What are some of the other ones that have been really great this year? There's one called the Business Oracle. And the reason why I recommend her is not necessarily because I learn anything from her, but because I listen to her podcast and she makes me go, I can do this. And I love people like that. Like Gabrielle Bernstein's books. She's not a mentor of mine anymore, but she used to be like 10 years ago. And I'm not knocking her by any means, but Gabby's books made me go, I can write a book. That's what they did for me. That's what the Business Oracle does. Podcasts. Here we go. I'm like, I know a lot. They're coming online. The Mediumship Sisters podcast. So Sierra Saylor, you met her here today. She is a gifted medium. She has an incredible podcast with other mediums. I've been on her podcast twice now. The second episode launched today, so I'll be sharing that in my Instagram stories. Our first episode ranked within the top 10 over Spotify. It's their number 1 listened to podcast, and they've had over 1,000 downloads. It was like my coming out of the spiritual closet. That's when I showed up and said, hey, everybody, I'm a psychic and I'm here to just shine brighter and call in more of my soul family. They are ranked within the top 3 of Spotify when it comes to medium and mediums and mediumship. And they're within the top 10, I think, on Apple podcast. Apple's a bigger platform, more difficult to get higher in those rankings. A psychic story, I really love. That's the podcast that kicked things off and made me realize podcast is the way to go. My energy forecast for this year was 2 of clubs as my theme, and that's about partnerships and communications. So that's why I chose to co-author a book. That's why I focused on podcast interviews. And a psychic story covers Nicole and her partner are amazing. They also wrote a book this year, which I need to get my hands on, called Looking for Angels. Happiness Rocks podcast. My beautiful friend Stephanie, you're going to love her voice. It's just so soothing and so calming and so grounding. So I've been on her podcast a couple of times as well, always about numerology. Beyond the Shift is a book. Volume 1 is out. I'm one of the co-authors for volume 2. But I just got my hands on that, and that's going to be on my reading list for my vacation as well. I'm going to spend my whole time in the pool reading or beside the pool reading. Is there any other ones that are coming through for me? Mediumship Sisters, A Psychic Story. Enlighten and Elevate is another one that I've really appreciated so far. There's several others, but I'm blanking. But this is making me realize that I should send out, as a part of a follow-up, I'll have my book list and my podcast list, and I'll send that out to you for resources. How do you find your 3 of clubs number? Why clubs? Oh, so my sun card and birth card is a 7 of clubs. If you DM me your birthday again, I have it in my archives because I've done your energetic blueprint before, but send me a message and it'll remind me, and I'll tell you what your sun card is. Your sun card represents who you came here to be. The 2 of clubs is found when we look at our forecast. And I have not found any resources online. I have a textbook that I can point you in the direction of, but that's why we're rewriting numerology, because we don't love the textbooks. Again, they come from a very masculine, energetic approach from the order of the Magi. Intuition is not involved, and it tends to be fear-based. And so that's why I'm hesitant to say, here's a book, because it's negative in my opinion. And it was something that I struggled with as a numerologist, weaving this into my life and business and doing these readings. I was like, I don't want to tell somebody that now's not the best time to travel. I don't want to say like, you're going to have problems if you travel, don't travel, because then people hyper focus on that and then they have problems with travel. I had this happen to a client. Oh my gosh, Anne-Marie, I know you said don't freak out about this, but it was a time where I wasn't supposed to travel and my work needs to send me on a trip and I have to go. So what do I do? Can I bow out of this? And I said, no, it doesn't mean bow out of it. It means prepare. So what are the potential problems that can happen with travel? Number 1, losing your luggage. Put some underwear and socks in your carry-on bag, right? Something to wash your face with. Toothbrush, prepared. Being late, set multiple alarms so you don't miss it, right? What are all of the problems and challenges we could have with traveling? So we went through all of that, and basically we did some fear setting. I was like, what are you afraid of? Let's name it to tame it. What can you do to prevent it from happening? And what's worst case scenario? What if this thing does happen? What have you learned from it? What could be the next possible outcome? She went on that trip, and it was the best trip of her life. Nothing happened because she prepared for it. She was in the moment, 100% present, and she met so many beautiful people because of it. Thank you. So your new numerology book will come out in the spring? Yes, it will. Our launch date is set in June. Stay tuned. I'm so excited. So each of us authors are taking the energy of a number as it relates to a deck of cards. So that's why there's 13. And we're breaking them down into the suits as well. It's going to be so freaking incredible. You're going to absolutely love it. It's going to be called Intuitive Numerology, and it's volume 2 of Beyond the Shift. Thank you, wonderful. I wonder why I can't use certain aspects of healing. Too much masculinity in it. Tarot is like this too. No. Tarot is one of those ones, like, and I have a tarot deck in front of me. Tarot is related to numerology, if you don't know this. It was built out of numerology. So if you understand numerology, you can somewhat understand tarot. I learned how to be an oracle card reader. So it's about intuition. It's about accessing your own psychic gifts, being your own channel, connecting with your own spiritual support team. I don't like tarot when I read what's in the book, because yes, it can be negative sometimes. But when we weave in our own psychic abilities and our own intuitive gifts, it's pure freaking magic. There's somebody on the call here today. She's becoming certified in tarot, and we just used it to support her. Yeah, and renaming her business. It's awesome. We took the names that she came up with. I pulled the numerology from it so we could access the numbers. I told her the numbers. I said, here's the numbers that are coming up from this, and here's the numbers that are coming up from that. And so pull out your tarot cards that are related to those numbers and lean into it and feel into it of which one makes sense. They're powerful tools that, you know, for some people, they don't feel in alignment, then don't use them. And for other people, it creates a lot of magic. So 100% do so. I have a Nightmare Before Christmas tarot deck. I don't use that for actual oracle card readings, but when kids come over, I do. But I do not read what's in the book because it does sound really doom and gloom and negative. I'll just pull a card. I'll be like, oh my gosh, you're going to get a lot of gifts coming your way. You know, it's the 8 of Cups. And they're like, yay. I'm like, be prepared for abundance. I use it to cultivate more positivity. Yeah. That's why we need more tarot decks and cards and decals with the feminine balance, right? Like, I love this tarot deck. Like, my son's coming in, so it might be difficult, but this is the major arcana strength. Look how beautiful that is. Love my fairy cards for this. Yes, 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 yes. A simple deck of cards is an amazing oracle deck. So when you understand the core essence of numbers of 1 to 13, and then you also understand what a heart is, what a spade is, what a diamond is, what a club is, then you can start reading almost immediately, right? What deck is that? The Light Seers Tarot. My other favorite deck is that I work with is the Starseed Oracle deck, because this is the type of artwork that's in it as well. Your life is a canvas. That's what came up for the month of December. Creative accountability, manifestations, artist, and there's never a coincidence in my world. My team makes me laugh all the time, because this month is about taking responsibility as the creator of your life as we move into 2024. And that's the card that I pulled. Yeah, so awesome. I have a lot of decks. Those are the 3 that I lean on and that I use with my soulmate clients that I work with on a regular basis. So I take a small group of people every year and we meet on a monthly basis, and then we do Voxer coaching in between. We always do prayer, meditation, oracle decks, and sometimes I have those sessions in my sunroom where I keep all my plants, and in those times then I'll show them all of my cards and I'm like, do you want to pick a different deck? And we just have fun with them. Yeah. I have ones that are like smart ass decks, like Grateful as Fuck, for example. So I should have said at the beginning of this, I'm like, I swear. So hopefully you don't have little kids around, but I should put that in the email when I send out the replay. Please don't have little ears around. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? Anything else I can help you clarify? The sun's coming around the corner. Have a beautiful view. I live in a place called Lions Bay, BC. So if you're from afar and you don't know where that is, you should Google it. It's a seaside village. I have a beautiful view. I post the view often on Instagram stories and in my Facebook group. So whenever I'm here, but you see me like doing this, it's because I'm tapping into the beauty and the magic of the ocean and the mountains. Mm-hmm. Anything else I can support you with before we end this call? If you are interested in learning more about numerology or becoming certified, my teacher is Megan Alton. What I love about Megan is she believes in collaborative wealth. She walks her talk. She went to school for finance. She used to do finances for the government. So she's all about abundance. When you join any of her courses, you're in them for life. So I have taken her courses over and over and over again, paid one time. She also supports us to understand how to weave numerology into business and build out a little strategy so you can start making money doing it right away. When I first joined her course, her foundational course, I paid off the course within the time, because within 4 weeks, she taught me how to interpret the numbers and do readings for other people. So I immediately started doing readings. By now, it was really fun. We're looking at the numbers for the end of this year and we're calculating them for this year in 2022. So I integrated numerology in 2021. It's helped me double my income in 2022, which blew me away when my bookkeeper reached out and said, like, do you know that you've literally doubled your income? I'm like, what? I'm like, that's amazing. We're going to 10 times it next year, because it's easier than doubling. I have now done readings that reach well over 200 people. I have done forecasts that have reached now over 100 people. And I have done at least 30 different universal forecasts. So it made me feel like a big deal. I'm like, oh, that's why I'm really good at this. That's how I've mastered this skill, because I've just implemented it. It is that easy. The new students that came in to this cohort, within an hour, Megan taught them forecasting, and I show up and support as well. And within an hour, each of them are forecasting. They knew how to do what I just did today. Intuitively, they were bang on. And my team a couple of years ago, it was clunky, not because of Megan's teaching, but because we were leaning again on the old text and not as much into our intuition and not accepting that we are actually channels. So we approach it differently now and encourage people to use their own intuition and their own insights. And it's just been absolutely magical. We're like, go do forecasting. You all know what you're doing. And they're like, really? And we're like, no, seriously, you honestly have figured this out just like this. And so that's why I'm like, hey, we should just write a book about this, about intuitive numerology. Tina, I really appreciate all the info today. You did a wonderful job in this, and I look forward to listening to the replay when to get what I missed. Megan is awesome too. Yes, I agree. Thank you so much, Tina. You're kind of a big deal. Thank you, Marissa. I appreciate that. Kind of a big deal, keeps me humble. So makes me show up and remember, but keeps me humble. Thank you, my friend. It'll be great to see you on Saturday. I'm going to wrap this. I'm hungry. The sun's out. I want to borrow my neighbor's dog, who's, I'm in love, everybody. He's a bull mastiff husky. He's not mine, so I get all the love, not the responsibility. And he keeps me moving my body and connected every day. We've got a special connection. So I'm going to go have something to eat and shift the energy. I love you. I just want to say that. I love you. I thank you for being here. Thank you for your energetic contributions. Thank you for this beautiful conscious conversation, for everything that you did to contribute to this. I'm going to be sending out the replay. And so I thank you for sharing this with your friends. I'll add that link. And if you loved everything today, then invite somebody else into this container that could benefit from this ancient wisdom and these soulful strategies. Okay, sending big love. See you soon.